Well, good evening. This is Hound Dog Steve coming to you on the 26th of July. And first little story I'd like to look at today is an interesting one, and it kind of highlights just about everything that is wrong with the way municipal government and possibly all governments work. So I'm going to show you some pictures in a minute, but I'll set up the story here. Essentially, it is down in Toronto, in a suburb of Toronto called Etobicoke, and there is a park, and there is an entrance to the park about 100 yards down the road from where this the central character of this story lived. But there was a shortcut that everybody used to take down an embankment, a small embankment. And anyways, our hero of the story had noticed how many people were slipping and falling and how dangerous it looked. So he approached his city councillor and asked if they could get some stairs built there. So the councillor got back to him and said that they couldn't do this because the estimated cost of building these stairs was $65,000 to $155,000. Okay, now we're talking, well, you'll see at the pictures, we're only talking 8 steps here. So anyway, our hero of the story, Abe, went out and he purchased some lumber. And he is a mechanic, so he does know how to read plans and this kind of stuff, and schematics, and so he went out and bought some lumber, and he built a set of steps. A perfectly adequate set of steps. Perfectly safe, and of course people immediately started using them. They were overjoyed and grateful at this citizen who had taken it upon himself to build this set of steps. Guess what? The city stepped in and said that they weren't safe and they didn't conform to city bylaw standards and building standards and so on and so forth, and that they would have to remove them. Okay, so I did see a short video where they had interviewed a builder who knew the building codes of Ontario and said that all of the steps only needed another handrail on the other side, which would be very, very, very simple to install. But other than that, I've seen many similar stairways built by the city on child's playgrounds, you know, the steps up to the platforms where you go down to the slides. I've seen them made out of wood, and exactly right, there is a handrail on each side. So this was not very far from conforming. And anyway, the city came in, they pulled it down, and now at least they have come back and said that they will build a set of stairs, and it will only cost $10,000 as opposed to $550 from the private citizen's pocket, and might have cost maybe $650 if you'd added the second handrail. So I don't know quite how we get from, you know, $650 to $10,000. Oh yes, I remember. It's because that dollar, every dollar that is spent by the city, has to be filtered through all the hands that it has to pass through to make that decision. And I can tell you it will have passed through a lot of hands, a lot of departments, to come up with just a price, the scope, approve the price and the money is available from council, then go back, get a contract to get 310. Oh my God, you know, you'd be talking at a year to get a contractor to come in through the council process. That's why it costs $10,000. And they said, as I said, 65,000 to 155,000. That was their first estimate. So you want to know where your tax dollars are going? It's in this incredible, stupid wastage that could so easily be avoided, and is avoided in the private sector. You know, the private sector, and don't get me wrong, I am no fan of unbridled corporations. However, the private sector are very, very careful about the cost of doing business. And why is that? It's because they have a limited return on the items that they produce, market and sell. Okay, the government unfortunately has unlimited access to your pocketbook, and they have no consequences for any mistakes. You can't go in and say, why is that going to cost $155,000? Where is the list of what it takes to do all of that work to build 8 steps? Because they're not going to give it to you. Or you have to go through freedom of information, and I mean, it's just absolutely insane. I honestly don't know how we got this far based on the system that we have right now. And it's just becoming even more redundant as we become more computerized and we become more decentralized. It becomes more glaring how inefficient government is, and government had either better smarten up or get out of the way, because right now they are a hindrance. They are an expensive hindrance to business. They're not even regulating properly. Okay, because people who are breaking the rules, large companies that are breaking the rules in Ontario are getting away with all kinds of consumer and commercial relations infractions. Ontario Hydro would be a classic example of this, using its monopoly to bully people into paying exorbitant rates for hydro. There is no recourse, there's no repercussions. You know, we're living actually in a time when there really is no rule of law. And that is actually fairly scary. Anyway, I'm going to show you some pictures of this steps that this hero built, and you be the judge. Okay, so here we go. This is CTV News, and this is our hero, Ave. And it says up here, Coast Toronto man builds park stairs for $550, irking city after $65,000 estimate. So these are the stairs that he built. You can see them quite clearly here, and you will agree that it probably was missing one handrail, but it is better than it was. It was basically just an embankment, and when I show you how when the city took out those stairs, what it looked like. Okay, so this is what the embankment looked like before the stairs went in, and the city came in and takes out the homemade stairs because they don't conform to code. Here's another shot. But this is what people were climbing down. That's why they were falling and slipping. But you can see, you know, this is a tiny, 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 tiny stairway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps. That is, or according to this, $65,000, $8,000 a step. Wow, I wish I could make that kind of money. But at least they are promising to put in a new set of steps. So action has been created here, and they say that it will cost about $10,000 to replace the stairs. So I guess this is a kind of a good news. Is it a kind of good news story? Anyways, government needs to smarten up. This is not the way to do business anymore. We cannot afford to have this kind of transgression take place. This is your property taxes. $65,000 property taxes. There you go. And it could all have been avoided by putting in, say, $1,000 to put in a set of stairs with concrete anchors. How hard could that be? Okay, so thank you. There's my brief little rant, and don't forget please to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And this is the Hound Dog Steve signing off, and we will talk very soon. Good night.